First off, they are a small bird and they really are really efficient meat source for such a small space. As you can see, the bird is quite small and they don't need that much space to live in. So you could have them on a porch or patio, in a garage corner, in a barn like we had, and they don't take up that much space. They don't have too much of a smell. So you really don't have to worry there, and you just have to worry about cleaning up any of their fecal matter. So you really can not worry about having a large setup for your quail. They're great for beginners because honestly, they're kind of just like mini chickens. And when you do harvest them for meat, you're gonna find that around 1 to 2 quail is gonna be enough for an average size adult. I know Chris and I will cook up usually 4 and kind of just have that and some veggies, and we are more than full. They're really easy to harvest. The whole harvesting process is very, very easy. There's some great videos on YouTube that you can find around that, and it's just a low cost that you need to do to get into them. And that brings me into the second pro, and that is they are a low cost, easy animal to get started with in homesteading. They don't require too much of a setup cost. You're just going to need the basic cage for them, which there are really 2 options you can do in regards to cages. You can do one in atrium style, and this is going to be really high ceilings, or you can do the second, which is a lower ceiling height. And this is really because when a quail is afraid, they're going to pop, and basically if they hear a predator or noises, they'll pop up in fear. And if they have the atrium, they can go really high, and if they have the lower ceilings, it's not going to give them enough momentum to actually hurt themselves when they do go to the ceiling of the cage. So you really have those 2 different options there. You don't need any bedding. As you saw in ours, we just have plastic cages with a drop down. You can also do wire cages and have a slanted drop down for your eggs to funnel down in. They don't need any roosting bars or anything of the likes, so it does create just an easier space for that. And when you do harvest them, they are a really tasty bird. They have a lot of flavor and they are delicious and cook up really well, that you're going to truly love them. And they're quite a delicacy. You don't see them on the menu too often, so it is really exciting when you are able to eat them and to know that you can create them on your own. Another pro is that you can truly raise them almost anywhere. We have them in our barn, but they are a lot quieter than chickens. There aren't too many laws around them. I would definitely check with your town or state and kind of see, because they are considered a game bird, if there are any regulations around them. But usually there will be regulations around chickens and how many roosters you can have, and I haven't seen it in our area for quail. They do make some noises, but it isn't as loud as a rooster, where your neighbors would probably never even know that you had quail. I don't think any of ours do unless we've told them, because they are relatively quiet, don't take up that much space, and they're kind of always in their cage. They're not out in the freedom, because once they do leave, you can't really free range quail because they will like hide under bushes and scurry away. So you would need to keep them in a caged environment. Another pro is that they make beautiful little tiny eggs. They're so fun. They all have their own kind of design, and you're going to notice that although they are a little bit smaller than chicken eggs, each hen will lay around 1 egg per day after around 7 weeks of age. So they're going to get to the egg laying stage a lot earlier than your chickens, and they're going to be laying a really consistent number of eggs. And you can really sub in these eggs from any of your baking to cooking needs. So from eggs at breakfast all the way to adding them in to desserts at the end of the day. And it can go into any recipe. It's just a 3 or 4 quail to chicken egg ratio. And they're going to be packed with protein, minerals, and other vitamins that are going to be great for you to add into your diet. And I know we will kind of add them into different things that we're cooking. And they're just a delicacy and super fun to have around the house. With that, they are going to provide or could provide an additional source of income. I know that we sell our quail eggs at around a dozen for $5. You can sell them on Etsy, you can sell them in your town or to friends, and it's going to help with some additional costs or help pay for their feed. You can also sell any of the hatching eggs, so any for eating as well as hatching. And then you can also raise breeding pairs and sell those as well. And those will probably be a little more costly that you can sell them. And they're usually going to be at breeding age at around 7 to 8 weeks again. And also that's when you would harvest them if you want to sell them for meat, if you're able to do that in your area additionally for another source of income. The last pro that I have here is, if you haven't realized this already, quail are a lot faster than chickens at almost everything. They're going to be able to lay eggs at a faster rate at around 7 to 8 weeks. They're going to be able to harvest around 7 to 8 weeks, and they just grow to size pretty quickly, but they also are going to be able to hatch really quickly. So at our farm, our quails will lay eggs, and then we will incubate them and turn them into quail. So we're able to create a whole system within our quail where we're able to harvest them and then also breed them to make new quail. And the hatching process for our coternic quail is around 15 to 18 days, and depending on what type of quail you have, it can fluctuate, but 15 days for something to hatch is a very quick time, and we've had a really successful hatch rate with our quail and our incubator, so definitely something to think about.